Is it on?
Yeah. Hi, CP.
Hi, Pious. What's
Are
up?
you going to do the music?
We
Okay,
have
we'll
to do
skip
the
the
music.
music this time.
Okay, no music. Not this kind of music.
What's up?
What do you want to talk about?
I think. No, so I overheard a reel that was playing on your phone a few minutes ago, and that person was talking about, and that reminded me of something we could talk about. Give me an
You think
inspiration.
you're loud enough?
I think I'm loud enough.
I feel like your mic is really away and you're also quite soft.
No, I think I'm loud enough. We'll find out later. Okay, I'll speak louder in general
Acha,
still,
what?
so
Say.
that you can hear me.
Okay.
Because you're sitting across the room.
Quite far.
So that's why you can't hear me, but the mic is probably hearing me.
Okay, Pious. What did you hear on the reel?
On the reel, this person was, I heard a fraction of it, but he's talking about everything being free.
Everything is free.
And we could talk about a concept that we often reference, we talk about a lot, which is abundance. And
the topic of abundance always gets me excited.
So I'll tell you the connection why the connection to abundance came, and then I'd want to hear you talk about abundance. I've stayed in a city for forever, effectively, and actually not stayed in a city, but not really understood farm life till very recently, like till the last year or so. And that means my interpretation of food in general and vegetables, fruits, is always that there's a price attached to them. And it's only when talking to people who have lived in recently, like the last year, I'd say, talking to people who've grown up on farms, who have lived in a village and then come over here.
And more we are having those conversations because of some of the work we're engaging ourselves in.
So those conversations plus growing some stuff of our own. And I would say even like just looking at nature, like observing the same tree across the whole year and seeing what cycle it actually follows. That has broken that perspective of cost related to food completely. And it's now not a thing that, like, now I understand that we essentially have, like, one apple can create infinite apples. And it is because we are choosing to stay away from the means of production, the farm, those apple trees, that all the cost actually gets attached to it. And if you're staying next to an apple tree, you effectively have free apples.
It is free
for life.
Like we're staying next to a mango tree, and
we will get our free mangoes for life soon.
आपको आम पता है? That is just for a few people. If you know, you know. Oh my God. Okay. What?
So yeah, that brought the idea of complete abundance to me. That you stay, like, we're staying in like most people are staying in a disconnected like disconnected from nature. We are even staying disconnected from nature right now. As much we try to get closer and closer to it, we're effectively still far away from a farm where you can directly eat everything that's there.
But now you're expanding what the meaning of nature is. I mean, no, I'm not what I said, but okay, go ahead.
My view is so open now about what is actually available out there, that food is effectively free always. It can be free always, or it is infinitely multiplying, I would say, the main thing, that with time and effort, everything is just
But it's
there.
that time, effort, and the knowledge.
And knowledge,
Knowledge being very important.
Yeah. So that connected me to abundance a lot, abundance of food at least. And then it broken out, it's expanded to a lot of other areas right now. But I'd love to hear you talk about it, because I got, I think, still exposed to the idea of abundance because of stuff that you talk about a lot. What's abundance to you?
Well, abundance. I don't know what abundance is to me is a very big question and a very big answer. So I won't, whatever I say is all part of that answer. But abundance is a way of life for me. Now you know that. And what does that mean? Again, hard to explain, because you know that not because of some definition that I must have given you at some point, but just from how I live and we both live now, really. The concept would, it's like, I think I said it in another podcast, or recently you and I were saying it, that those birds that come with 50 birds in the morning and that become 100 in the evening, and yours and my theory is that the birds probably invite their friends. Those birds that invite their friends can also think कि if we don't invite these friends, हम ये खबर ना फैलाएं अगर हमारे पास में खाने का हमें बड़ा सा ये मिला है, then we can have more tomorrow. But they're not doing that. And the seeds are ending, and somehow they're getting, to their mind, somehow it is getting refilled. They don't know there is a Pious and a Chetna that go to a shop called such and such and buy such and such named varieties of seeds, mix it and have a fun time mixing it with that other kid over there, and then our seeds come here. They don't know that. They don't care about that. It's turning up, they're having, they're sharing. That, the ability to be in the now, to enjoy your now without worries of any other moment, to me, that feeling is abundance. Abundance is not a feeling. It's not a quantity. It's not a set amount of food in your fridge. It's not a set amount of money in your bank. It's not. It's a mindset. How abundance is a mindset, so is lack a mindset. Meaning, there is no end to human desires. There is no end to human need, and there is no end to, on one side, how much insecurity a human being is capable of feeling. So if a human being allows and says, okay, I will say I am happy when all my insecurities are met, firstly, you're never going to get to that place. A person who thinks like this is not going to get to that place. I'm not saying you cannot be above insecurities and you cannot live in abundance. I'm saying if you're spending your time wanting to just run away from your insecurities, then you're already playing the wrong game to begin with. So there is no limit to human insecurities. There is no limit to how much one can hoard. People hoard in banks. I'm not saying you shouldn't have money. I'm not saying you shouldn't earn. None of that. It's that if it's going to take a certain metric outside of you to prove to you that this is the reason why you are abundant, and that is why you should feel okay, that is not abundance. That mentality in and of itself is a lack mentality. So first, you are abundant, you are whole, you are complete, you have everything, and you have the capacity for everything within you. First, you realize this. From this place emerges a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, a lot of abundance. And abundance for what, right? You spoke about food, and you said that this is one of the ways in which you really understood the concept of abundance, but I don't feel that that's entirely true. You're misremembering, because food is something we started to know more and more, not in the last year, but even in the last 6 months more. But the concept of abundance is something that you and I have talked about for a long time. Abundance of time, abundance of good conversations, abundance of joy, abundance of friendship, abundance of cats, abundance of love, abundance of... We've spoken about abundance not being about money for a very long time, and been bringing that into our practice over time. And it's been a journey. Again, everything that we talk about, we're sitting here today and talking about it. It's not been our natural way of life. Neither was I born on a farm. So it's not like you were not exposed and I was exposed, and that's how these things came into our life, that I brought it in. We together had a desire, right, to move closer and closer to something that felt right within us. We stopped trying to head outside of us for solutions to problems that existed inside of us. We said if the problem is inside, the solution must also be inside. Or we said, let's see who is the person who has the problem inside. We said whatever we said, because we can't get into all of that. That's a whole conversation about self-inquiry then. But we said that if there is a lack, it is not to be found, the solution is not to be found on a sheet of paper which tells me either my bank account number details, or it tells me my property details, or it tells me a number on the internet that tells me how many people like me and follow me, or a number of likes on something that I post, or a number of views on something. It is not external. First and foremost, we said that. When we said that, then we started going in, and as we kept going in, we realized that we're saying that if A happens, then it means B, and therefore I am C, which is happy. And we realized going in, that I am already happy. The unhappiness is occurring when we're understanding that, oh, I am not good enough in the lack of A, so let A come into my life, which means B, which will make me C happy. But please tell me if there is a human being here or consistently who can point out that they lived like this, and at C they actually got happy and went home happily. No, at C they said, oh, now I need D. Then after that whole D, E, F, they said, oh, now I need G. H, I, now I need J. That's a never-ending cycle. So I feel the ability to escape this never-ending cycle in and of itself is abundance.
It creates that. It opens up your mind to so much then, right? I feel one other way in which I very clearly saw it is the friends and neighbors that are around us that now...
Such a blessing. They were all there.
They were all there always. They've been there for a long time, physically around, but you don't, I did not see neighbors as, like, I grew up not knowing my neighbors in Calcutta also, and most of the houses we've shifted around here, we've not known our neighbors too much, like hi, hello,
not
maybe.
even cared to know.
So over here, our experience of I think first realizing ourselves being in that abundant mindset, then created just the whole like building of people that are friends and have supported us in so many different ways, from food to medicine to just
looking after something, taking many things.
Which we tend to, like, if I see myself a year ago, 2 years ago, I'd feel alone in that thing, like worry about a problem, and then you try and find solutions outside. You believe that Zomato then becomes the only source of food.
Yeah.
And not that, okay, there's a neighbor that's just like 10 meters away is a source of food also.
And that is something that was changing for me also, life-changing for me also to realize, because key word for me since 22 has been community. It's just something that came up, but I didn't know how to build it, how to go about building it, and I didn't go about building it. It got built. Everything that we're doing, a lot of our projects are pipeline, a lot of our projects are happening. Some are money, some are not about money, some are about personal growth, some are about growth for the universe, about the environment that we live in. All of these, I don't believe you and I did much. We did our parts at each level as they were presented to us, but in terms of planning, in terms of what is right, what is wrong, in terms of being super logically smart about all of it, we didn't do too much of that. We did knowing that goodwill, goodness, abundance, positivity, well-being, yes, well-being is flowing. We realize that within our own lives, that till I am not getting up and creating the lack of well-being in my life, it seems like well-being seems to flow, which in itself took a while to realize. We realized that the well-being is flowing, and then we said these are the intentions that we have, the set 4-5 projects that we have. And then we said, what can I do right now about this? What is the best I can be right now about it? And then knowing this, believing in this fundamental idea of abundance and the flow of well-being, brought resources, people at the right time to us. In fact, even in my work, I at every stage, it's become very clear to me that for me, life and work are not two separate things. I lived my life opposing the idea of working more than 5 days a week, and I am transformed so much that now most of Saturdays and Sundays I wake up first thing in the morning for work. So, and it doesn't bother me, it doesn't even register to me as a thing. Only when I suddenly one day realized that I was looking forward to a 5:30 or a 6 a.m. class that I had to deliver on Sunday morning, which is when I was like, my God, I'm so different from the Chetna who was the one person in her entire office that didn't go to work on Saturdays. So anyway, this belief, so the clients have also come in such a way as whatever mode I was in my own life, whatever part I wanted to become stronger in my own life for, I've got at that time a right person to both externally look at the situation and then help both of us grow through that situation. And that's why all of my work is co-creation, including this podcast is co-creation. We're not this podcast is a great example of how abundance has flown, but how first we've had to have that internal intention for it. How we had to call forth well-being, and then well-being just gushed forward. We just said, I've been saying I want to do a podcast, but never with any amount of force. And then one day we said, oh, we should record. Another day we said, oh, we should record. Then third day we said, okay, let's just record. And then we recorded something. And then another time we said, okay, let's not record on video, let's just record on audio. And then just as you were recording on audio, I said, why don't you just record on an app? And then when we recorded, right after recording, we both looked at each other and we like, that was a very satisfying conversation. Let's just upload it. And we just uploaded it. And we didn't know. And then we're continuing the same thing here. We're not using a lot of our time yet. Maybe that's a smarter thing to do. Maybe it is good to think of a nice name for the podcast. Maybe we should know what topics we're going to talk about so that we can target certain eventually think of monetizing and target some sort. But we're not doing that. That's not our aim. Our aim here was that we want to find a community for this amazing. The first post that I made on This Is Life was this, because I was at that time feeling, that was a bit of a long time ago. At that time, my personal feelings were that I was finding a lack in the conversations that I was having with the people around me. I was still having the conversations that excited the old Chetna and not finding conversations that the new Chetna was feeling excited about and looking forward to. And to nobody's fault, but the intention that I started This Is Life .xyz page is this poem by Hafiz, if that's how he's pronounced. I don't want to be the only one here telling all the secrets, filling up all the bowls at this party, taking all the laughs. I would like you to start putting things on the table that can also feed the soul the way I do. That way we can invite a hell of a lot more friends. Beautiful. I see this as a solid response to that. And that does not mean I have a clear path. Okay, now we have This is maybe our 4th recording,
No
but
idea.
maybe a 3rd upload. And just with this much, so many people have reached out to us saying that they heard our podcast. There's no thoughts like that. What does that mean? That means my growth chart within 1 year, I will have this many. This is not that. It's that just within me, I'm feeling that spirit of abundance, of people coming together for such conversations, of me opening up, blooming, and doing this and putting this out there, and therefore knowing that if I'm putting out well-being, nothing short of well-being is ensured for me. That feeling is what I would say abundance is all about.
Yeah. And so 2 things. One, about the podcast itself. I remember us talking in the weeks, I would say, leading up to it. We often talked about how the internet is that abundance.
Internet
It's
is abundant.
It's the connecting of billions of people across the world, and that even a small fraction of them, the internet will connect. Like if we take the first step, the internet will connect us to all those people out there. And these conversations that we had about the abundance of the internet and what it networks people right now, that was maybe like a vine to leading to us being completely comfortable with just starting the podcast and sharing the first thing right there.
So abundance breeds abundance. So it's again, like you said, that I found out about food and that's how I came into abundance, but we realized that wasn't the case. Over here also, I would say it's not just this. We became very comfortable and accepting of ourselves first, which is also why we can just put out a conversation that we're having without, there is like, the internet is abundant and the internet is also the other things. But our intention to put out stuff is to find people, is to help, is to put out our message. If everybody has a message, hey, this is our message and we feel that there's some value to this message because we've seen results in our life, check it out. Whatever it is our focus on the abundance and our making ourselves like that over a period of time that allowed us to focus on the abundance. Completely. Which also is enabling this in us. So that's why I said, what can I say about abundance? Abundance is a way of life. And abundance is the knowledge that there is something higher than me that's taking care of me. Oh, is this about religion? No, it's not about religion. There is a power. Like, is there not? Then if there isn't, then you should be able to answer a few questions that then a lot of us aren't able to. But
another thing that you said that I want to bring back to is you mentioned this thing about weekend, like you just completely easily working at any point of time.
Early morning, late night, it doesn't matter to me. Right? If I've not slept, I've slept. It's inconvenient to me. It doesn't bother me.
And I've seen that contrast like very, very distinctly.
Yeah.
And to see this, there was a lack of time in your life.
Yeah.
In a way, right?
Yeah.
The weekends are blocked for something else. They're not.
Yeah, everything is earmarked for stuff.
Yeah, things get earmarked in different ways. So there's a lack of time that exists. And now there's time.
Always there's
for
time.
Whatever.
There's always time.
Right.
Yeah, if there's something exciting, there's time. Suddenly time comes, other things get canned. Like yesterday itself, this happened. Although this is not an exact example, but I had 3 things that I had to do. I woke up wanting to just lie and be in bed under the blanket and read and love and cuddle 11. And things got cancelled. And it just happened. I feel those results also start to come when that abundance of time is there. No? Okay, oh my God, I wanted to cuddle 11, but I can't cuddle 11. Okay, don't worry, you can cuddle her later. No, after this, I have this, I have this, I have this. You've put so many boundaries all around you, which is, again, since we're not discussing, this is not a session, right? So we're not discussing abundance and lack in its entire details. We're just having our own conversation. So you know a lot of the gaps, which may not be clear here, but we're still going to go ahead and have that conversation. You're not limiting yourself and putting yourself in so many boxes that you then don't find the ability. So even with fruits and vegetables and everything you said in the beginning, it's your, somebody says, okay, fruits and vegetables are free. No, I bought the strawberry packet for 400 rupees. It's from Nasik. Oh, why did you have to buy the one from Nasik? Why can't you grow one in your balcony? No, the Nasik one is very nice. I heard strawberries from Nasik are really good. Where did you hear? Acha, internet. Or somebody from somewhere. Now there is a value to, even you and I do this. We indulge in it. We'll say, oh, we feel special when it is specially flown in from Nasik. Then there's the packaging. Oh God, all the strawberries have been put in the same angle so they look a certain way. Then all of them, they've been chosen for you. If you grow, some will grow one shape, another will grow another shape. These have been chosen that they're all the same shapes. There is extra skill, right, that can go into all levels of growing, on the level of marketing, at the level of targeting that add to you when you were most likely to buy it. Well, this is about exotic fruit shopping, but even day-to-day stuff, we have removed ourselves. A, we want convenience, and nothing wrong with wanting convenience and comfort in life. But B, we have not realized the cost at which such convenience and comfort has come. It has come, like, I think you wrote about this also. Okay, now my calculator will do 2 plus 2 for me. Now it has come at the cost of my inability to do 2 plus 2 equals to 4. The mobile phone will store, and I'm to saying ekdam basic stuff. Mobile phone will store all the phone numbers for me. Now I don't even need to remember any phone number. But then when I was a kid, I had maybe 100 phone numbers that I remembered in my head at a time. My grocery will come in 10 minutes, so I don't even need to plan aaj pure din mein kya banega. But then when I was a kid and we used to go out for family sabzi shopping, then the whole week's food was planned. So it's not an overnight change on either side that can be expected. We didn't go from being the whole community, from all of every human being, from being a local hunter-gatherer to being this overnight. And neither is the goal to go from being this to that, right? Yeah. The goal is, or according to me, the goal at any point of time could be, what is the best I can do given all that I know right now? And in that, if you choose abundance, then that's abundance. Yeah. In that, if you choose to see that there is enough, abundance also must be explained in this way. Lack means I must take more for myself because baad mein nahi milega. Yeah. It's an evolutionary way of thinking. Yeah. Because that is what our hunter-gatherer forefathers may have thought, that right now this tree is there, baad mein nahi milega. Yeah. But you don't live like that. You live in an era where food literally comes to you in 10 minutes. So tumko baad mein nahi milega, koi chance nahi hai. So you take how much you truly need. Yeah. It's about balance. In their time, maybe saying that baad mein nahi milega was the conversation of balance. At that time, that was needed. Yeah. Today, it's not needed. But just because today you have something that your groceries can come in 10 minutes, losing the ability to know what you want to eat. Acha, why will I know what I want to eat at 12:30 at 10 in the morning? Situations have reached here. It's all, abundance in and of itself is always about balance. Because you are confident that what you want will appear for you, or appear for you may sound esoteric, but is available to you when you need it. And there will be money for you to be able to buy it if that situation does come up. Then there is no need for this excess of any level. What happens right now is a large percentage of society doesn't understand, doesn't look at it like that. Because nobody wants to be the first few people to take that risk. But if everybody gets it, there was another reel I saw, which was by one of the scientific pages that I saw. What that page, I don't remember the page, but what they do is they find some data from some research that has happened, and then they connect it back to. So there's a study that says that an average worker, corporate worker, not your blue collar worker, is productive 2.5 hours a day. So 3 hours a day, 5 days a week they work. If this was accepted, and if we didn't have a hustle culture, and we didn't have a this culture, and we didn't have that culture, then all of us can work 15 hours a day. And use a lot of our time to do a lot of other things, which could include growing your own food if one wanted to do that. Or one could include growing their own food, which they could make for 20 people. Whatever. This is not, I'm not giving a how the new government should work. This conversation is not about that. I'm saying that freedom is lost.
Yeah.
Abundance is lost. And one area of unawareness is feeding another area of unawareness and making both worse off, thereby giving the human being a worse off experience of life. So we must do all of this not because of an external idea. We must do all of this because my own experience of life is lessened. Yes, I can get the kick that अरे छोड़ ना, तेरे को क्या पता, मैं तो 10 मिनट में खाना मंगा के I can do. You can get that kick. It's good as far as that is serving a convenience. You've got everything, and then you have this feeling, यार धनिया होता तो चटनी मजा आता बनाने में, or you want to sprinkle some dhania, and for that you order, and you feel the joy कि wow, you know, while I was cooking, I got the dhania in 10 minutes to sprinkle on my food. They're very good. You deserve. We live in the world where technology has reached a place. We deserve that sort of convenience, comfort. You have the ability, resources, the company is providing that, you take it. But somebody is providing something, and that is reducing the quality of my life. Lambe run mein, medium run mein. Oh, I don't find that as a win-win situation. I like win-win situations, you know this. Win-win-win situations, scenarios. From that perspective, this sort of, it looks like abundance on top. 10 minutes mein mera saman mere paas aa raha. I'm sticking to one example. There are innumerable examples, right? So, like your food deliveries and groceries delivery, food delivery, your mobile phones, iPhone 15 was available. But then there's no joy of that, whatever I used to see when I was a kid on TV. People were standing, sleeping in the tents to get. That time, the people that were sleeping in the tents, standing in line, waiting in line, they were not doing it to show off to their neighbor, look, I have an iPhone. They were those people who, if they showed off to their neighbor, I have an iPhone, the neighbor would go, what is this device and why would you spend so much? They had real passion towards that product, which is what inspired a certain sort of action. But now in this, let's make it look like an abundant life, but it really is a lack life, which is why it kills your soul battery from within. It's, oh look, I can get it in 10 minutes. Oh look, you can, and then you don't get any real joy out of it. And because everybody has to run towards the same, look, I have this, maybe there are 10 things that you can put up on top and say, this is what we all need to get. Yeah. But if everybody reached out for what they really wanted to get, as a group, we would be getting 100 things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fake abundance. You have to be mindful of the fake abundance also.
Marketing companies or any company that is doing marketing is essentially one of the main things they try to create as lack in the first place so that you buy the thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this idea is a commercial idea to the iPhone is exclusive because at the beginning there's limited numbers. It has a particular status. All of these things are made up ideas.
All of that is so easy today.
No one needs an iPhone. You need a phone. But we then put one at a high status over there, and therefore there's now a lack.
Look, one doesn't need a phone. That watch that kid has, I have half a mind to just change give up my phone and use that watch.
Yeah.
But no one needs anything. That's what, when you are in an abundance mindset, that I sometimes just, if I don't have a phone, I will take somebody's phone and make the call that I need to make.
Yeah.
One needs something because one is not scrappy anymore. Because one doesn't have time to be scrappy. But by scrappy, I mean resourceful. But when one is not resourceful, when one is not daily practicing the resourcefulness, when one gets scared at the unavailability of an Uber, these are problems. When you and I don't find an Uber, we just start to walk and then raste mein haath dikha ke auto le. Our life is moving. Our life is not moving because some app is breaking down.
Yeah.
I didn't know that all of GPS is under the control of America. One day you told me, then I was like, bhai, I'm not depending only on maps from now. Because what sort of dependencies are I'm extreme. I'm not saying people have to be extreme like me. My mind works like I want to gamify absolutely everything in my own mind. fine, you don't have to do that. But you do have to think differently. You do have to question. So if Uber is not coming and because of that I'm getting stressed, there is a problem here. And it's all of these companies, when they came in the beginning, you had all these, Uber used to give you Audis and BMWs, and then later you couldn't even get clean cars, and then they created 3 categories. Then I'm always like, Pious, make sure you book from the best category because I can't deal with a dirty car. But what is this was also all a strategy. All of them came like that. And make use of it. Don't not make use of it, but don't make yourself useless in making use of it. I guess if one manages that and one sees that things are fine, things are okay, hai sab kuch to hai, matlab what am I, the only thing I feel which is not abundant, which if you live right is time. Other than that, chill, everything is there, it'll work out. If you, it'll work out anyway. It'll work out however it has to work out. Your experience of it is going to be affected by your mindset, which can only be one of two. Abundant, things are working out, things are fine, whatever I have to get, I get, or lack. No, I must hoard, because even the person, if you have a lack mindset and you have lacks, which is nothing, but if you have like multiple thousands of crores, you can be very unhappy. And if you have an abundant mindset and you truly understand that I have this breath and this breath can make you deeply happy. And I'm not saying you have to be either extreme. Understand this and find your happy medium, whatever that is. But why is it decided by the society or by the jobs or by the company or by an outside entity? Become reliant enough to be the person who can take this decision. And maybe we're not that today, but know that potential is there. And that knowledge is abundance.
Yeah.
I have said whatever I could say about abundance in short.
I think I'll just add one more thing. And you've covered a lot of things. I think that one thought that came to my mind is that the thing that helps ultimately is that you see that the world is an abundant thing. And when you see that, our looking at the world as the truth is that there's abundance. It's an infinitely growing world that is creating itself. It is the sun that is powering us in, like, we get infinite energy that we have. We live in an abundant world that feeds itself, and there's billions of species, millions of species that you have. It is an abundant world. What makes us look at it as a lack world is the conditioning that we have grown up with. It is the marketing messages we've heard. It's our parents, relatives, their fears that we've imbibed.
Generational traumas.
It is just the world is still getting over the fact that we were hunter-gatherers at some point of time, and there was a lack of resources. Till 100 years ago, there was a lack of resources.
Maybe at that time.
And so there's a training in the mind by default that looks at things as lack. But if we look more and more for how the world is abundant, then we will experience that abundance, go closer towards it, and that conditioning of lack will cease to exist more
over
and more.
Time.
And more.
Yes,
over time,
yes, for sure. But I would just say one thing. Everything you said is, I resonate with it. So there is a conditioning, yes. But we oftentimes, because I work with a lot of people who have been in therapy previously, and they understand conditioning and they understand all these words a lot. Yeah, that conditioning is there. But how do you eventually, whenever you do overcome this conditioning, you do that by realizing that whatever there is the past. That was then. This is now. and I am going to do something differently now.
Yeah.
You still have to make that different choice.
Yeah.
So yes, the conditioning is there and we can talk about it and it's justified. I feel a lot of people, not a lot of people, all of us people have the fear that we think that there's something wrong with where we are, and therefore if only people understood my backstory, they will not judge
Yeah.
me for where I am. But just
So
if you forget that one thing, then let's say you are okay where you are.
yeah.
Do you still wish to
Yes.
move forward? And if that answer is yes, it doesn't matter what your conditioning was. Because we all had varying types of conditioning and we all have unlimited number of forefathers we can blame all of that on. But that's not the point. The point is right now, if you're in a relay and you're the fourth person while you're running, you can either not care about how those three ran and give it your best, or you can say, fuck, that first one was so slow, that second one
Yeah.
was okay, that third one was like this, and be thinking about all of this while you're doing your running. Doesn't matter what they did, you do what you can do. This
Perfect analogy.
is what I tell myself when I find myself blaming my conditioning, because there is a lot for me to blame. That's not the part of this conversation. Anyway, I feel this is a wrap for me.
That's a good analogy to end with.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
Bye.
Bye bye.